Welcome everybody, it's my second vlog. I wanted to update everybody on things that's been going on, as well as some of the things that I've learned, because I've learned quite a bit since the last vlog that I've done. I know they're going to be posted at the same time, but I sure did learn a lot. And one, I'm hoping that the wind out here is not, that I've accounted for it in using the mic that I'm using. I'm recovering from the flu. My wife and I both are. Man, it knocked us down. And I don't know. She had the flu shot. I did not have flu shot. We both got it. I don't know. I just do what they tell me. Those with much more medical knowledge than I do. Sorry about the cough. I'm still lingering with some of the effects. Coughing is one of them. Tiredness, fatigue. Wow. Yeah, and I can't wait for that to go away. Well, the first thing, in my first vlog post, the biggest thing I learned was make sure that it's in focus. Like right now, I'm looking at a little deal. I can see there are little square boxes around my head, and somehow or another, half that video was out of focus. You know, I looked on it, and I'm trying to figure out why, and there's a mirror behind me, and you could see that it somehow the camera had cleared on that, or I had keyed on that. I didn't know enough to figure that out. So then at some point in time, you know, I think it was me moving around or something like that. I did something like this, and that was, you know, more than halfway through the video, and then it came into focus. I'm like, oh, okay, there it was. So I had two thoughts. One, I'm not shooting this thing again. And two, there is the whole purpose of the vlog part of this is for it to mostly be unedited, and for me to go through and learn and work this process. And what better way to do it than to leave that in, because it was something that I learned from in that. I didn't notice it until afterwards. So there you go. It's an example of something that I didn't see coming. Just like out here, I have no idea if the sound is going to come across. I think it will, but I won't notice that until I play it back later. And if it's, obviously I'll have to reshoot it if it's to the point to where you can't even hear me, but because it is a little windy out. But I have a deity mic, and it's, I think it's taking care of it. Now, one of the biggest lessons I learned, other than focus, was to just start. It seemed like I'd been preparing forever. I kept pushing back the release dates on when I was going to do something, and man, I finally just had to hit record. You know, I give that shout out to Think Media. Those are the folks that you can find their channel on here. They've got several of them, but they're really good about helping other creators learn how to get started and overcome obstacles and learn from their mistakes. So I found that as I was going along, I just kept preparing and preparing and preparing. I wanted to do this, and I wanted to learn that, and I wanted to learn everything and be a fully polished creator before I even hit publish on my first video, and that's just not going to happen. Like anything, you're going to be bad at it before you're good. You know, I'm hoping that after 10 or 20 of them that I can rise to the level of mediocre. Hey, that's a goal, right? So one of the things that the flu did was it changed the order in which I came about doing the content on my channel, because the first thing I was going to do was to post a bunch of things related to law. Well, one of the things is that with that, it's more of a what they call a talking head deal. So it'd be me up here. Well, when I got the flu and I, you know, sound awful, I'm over there hacking and snotting and all that other stuff. And so that wasn't viable. But I also wanted to get the thing going, and I didn't know how long it was going to take to get over this. So I ended up having to actually do something else first, which was to add to start on the gaming side of it. Now, I'll still get, and I will still have some lawyer content on there, but I originally thought I was just going to focus on one, get some videos there, and then go to the next, and I ended up having to kind of do it in a reverse order, but I still wanted to get that content out there as far as being a lawyer, so that's very important to me to extend out, excuse me, to teach, get some things on there, resources for parents, something on those lines, because I know that's where I'll have the biggest impact. I just know it, I feel it, and it doesn't always have to be in the courtroom for me to make an impact. And that's what hopefully any of us do anything for, is to make an impact. So Saturday 10 a.m. is when I've scheduled for the next one. We'll see how that goes too, because I've technically uploaded the video and my first vlog, but I've scheduled it to come out on Saturday at 10 a.m. Why 10 a.m.? Why not? You know, I wanted to release that. First of all, I didn't want to have just, hey, here's one video, publish it, and say, hey, everybody, come look at my deal, because that thing's like less than 4 minutes. It was quite a bit of footage, but after it was cut it down and edited and all that, it's like 3:48 or something like that. Say, hey, come look at this channel. Okay, boom, is that it? So I wanted to have a few out there. I wanted to have at least 5 videos. We'll see if I'll get it done, but even if I don't get it done, and I've got several of them, it's not like I'm starting today and this is going to be I've got to get these videos start to finish done. No, I've got several in various levels of production. I know I sound like a movie head or something, but I'll get that done, and even if I can't, it's still going live at 10 o'clock on Saturday, because I've just got to get started. Okay, the gaming space, that was different. It was different. It needed different gear. I'd been preparing and getting the stuff together. I just didn't expect to have to deal with it quite yet, because I really don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not as good, right? I'm not as proficient as I would like to be with just talking on camera and being able to get comfortable with that. Just kind of odd, because I can be in a courtroom. You know, I was an Air Force recruiter at one point in time. I sat there and talked to a group of high school students of over 2,000 at one of the larger Oklahoma high schools. And I was in the gym, I was on the floor, and there was a little bit of nervousness that you push through, but I was able to do it. Here, nobody's out here. I mean, there's some people walking and looking over at me and pointing and saying, oh, what's he doing? I can at least read that much off their lips. But I'm still not as comfortable as I want to be yet on camera. So, anyway, didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but again, I'm going to try and do these as least amount of editing as possible. Now, if it's something that, you know, I wanted to say and I just flat screwed it up and I had to restart, then I'll probably edit that, cut that out, and just use the restarted one. You know, if there's something else that, you know, some type of error or something like that, I'll cut it out. But for the most part, I'm trying to just turn it on, get a vlog done, and go. So we'll see. So the gaming space, one of the things I had to use was a capture card. So this capture card allows you to record whatever it is that you've got on the screen, and then there's other software like OBS software that it's an open source deal, so it's free. You can download that. I can find that. I can try and do a link or something somewhere. Again, I got to learn it first. But through those, then you can get the game video and the game audio. Now that you can sit there and be listening to the game on, say, headphones, because I've got the Xbox headphones, so you can sit there and listen to it on that, talking, but it's not going to pick up your voice. It'll pick up the game audio, but not your voice audio. So I had to have a separate condenser mic for that. And then editing it and playing it back, I had to use several different audio sources, more than what I thought. And then I had to turn around and figure out how to get closed captions on there. So that was different, but it was really cool how that works in Adobe Premiere Pro. There's a function on YouTube that says whether or not, when you're uploading a video, whether or not you want to have captions, but I didn't want to have multiple captions. So I'd already put captions, I'd already baked it into the video itself through Adobe's Premiere Pro. Probably something I'm going to have to tinker with to find out exactly what that does, which one I like better. So, the lesson were B-roll. Okay, B-roll is essentially, for those that don't know, right now this is A-roll. Or just your raw footage. I'm sitting here talking, this is the main stuff, and let's say I cut away to something here in a few minutes. I may add this just as an example, so I may edit that and add this in, but you cut away to a well, like this path right here. Okay, you see this path, I'm still talking, I'm still doing everything I was, but you're seeing the path instead. So I've overlaid this picture onto it. There's a sign around here that says that you need to stay on the path. So right now, hopefully, if I'm doing this correctly, you should be seeing that picture. And now you're back to me. So that video footage extra was called B-roll. So I knew I needed B-roll. I knew it makes things look better. Because ultimately, you're telling a story of some kind with your video. But when I started editing and putting the B-roll in, then I really saw, oh man, okay, you just look at it in a different light. So then when you're out and about, and I've noticed when I'm out here, like I said, that you'll see that sign or that I took. Signs are really good. The other day I was downtown, I took pictures of stop signs, road closed signs, because I don't know, I may use them. There may be something to where it goes along with the story of whatever video I'm trying to sell. So I'm trying to start a bank of B-roll footage. So that was the same thing that I did with the Stay on the Path. That was just designed to go ahead and get the, add to the B-roll. I think I took pictures of some trash cans, a water thing. Things that you go around and look at normally, you just don't pipe down and looking at this big rock over there. I'm thinking, I'm going to go get that picture before I leave here. Because it just looks cool. There's landscaping around it, and there might be a time where I might need that. There's a tree not too far from it. I might need that. So that was one of the things I learned, was to look at B-roll differently, and to walk around my daily life differently. So now, people are really going to be weird, because I may stop and take the pictures of the randomest things, but in my head I'm thinking of B-roll and a future project. Let me see. I've got my notes pulled up too, by the way. Let me see. B-roll. Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro, I've mentioned it several times. And it's the main editing software that I use, and that some others use. There's other kinds. There's Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve. There's several types, but I use Adobe Premiere Pro. That allows me to edit and get the videos into the format of which you're looking at. So that can be just flat out uploading nothing but the footage, but then through Premiere Pro, that's how I was able to add the B-roll on top of it and those pictures. The learning curve is fairly steep. It's steeper than I thought it was going to be. So I ended up having to just break it down into chunks, and then that was Achilles' heel there, because I didn't even have end cards. I may have them on there by the time I post this. I don't know. But I'm uploading the videos, and YouTube's asking me what I want as a thumbnail, and do I have an end card, and what do I want to put on there? And I'm like, I don't. All right, put that on the list of things to learn. So that is also kind of a catalyst into the preparation, getting bogged down into that and never actually uploading. So that was a little different, especially for somebody that considers themselves a perfectionist. Other people may not. They may look at my work product and think, yeah, that's just thrown together. Well, me in my mind, I like to bid. I say I'm OCD. I think a lot of people say that. They throw that phrase around there. I don't know if I actually am, but I mean, there is, if I see something and it's like an odd number, and I'm like, gotta even that up. Or you see those little memes where like, hey, test, are you OCD? And then I'll look at something and it'll be off, and I'll don't do something, make it stop. So I don't know. Anyway, audio was also much more in depth than I thought. I liked the voice coming out of the deity mic last time, but that was inside. Today it's outside. I have a little, here, it's called a lavalier mic, which is the little thing that pins onto you. Let me see if this makes a difference. Okay, so I've got the little foam thingy on there, which I think is helping to reduce some of the wind. Now I'll take that off. Wait a second, see if I get a little bit of wind, and see if it does a difference. I don't know. Maybe not enough. There's good wind gust. We'll go with that. Okay, now I can't even see my deal. I can see it in that thing better. All right. Now I hope it didn't blow your ears out when I'm sitting there touching the tip of the microphone. But there's a way to set the limiters on the gain so that you don't have that. So I may have to look at this video just in case and make sure you don't get your ears blown out. There's these dust covers of sorts that you can put on mics when you're dealing with wind. That eliminates a lot of the sound that's coming from it. Funny enough, they call them a dead cat, and I will. I'm thinking about it. I will take a picture of it, and it'll be right here. This is a dead cat. You can see why they call it a dead cat, but that's just the slang that they use for it. Let me see, audio. Yeah, I talked about the gaming setup and how there's a little bit more, because here I'm just using this one mic and that's all I need. There I've got headphones, I've got a separate mic for my voice and my voice overs, and then I've got a separate cord, an attachment that I use if I want to add audio from a party chat. Like, let's say I'm doing a video, I don't know, a walkthrough that on something that takes a group of people, and I'm talking to them online, and I want their voices to come through and our discussion to come through. Well, if I don't have that thing, which I do, I just don't have a video that needs it yet, then all you would hear would be my voice coming out in the room as if you were standing in the room next to me. You wouldn't hear their voices because you don't have the headphones on. So it would come out like that because it would get picked up on the condenser mic. Hope I'm not boring you. I feel like I'm rambling on, but then again, that's all I ever do is ramble on. I'm as long-winded as you can get, I think. Man, gotta do something about that. Sometimes you just gotta get to the point. And me, I start telling a story, grab some tea. Maybe a pillow. But what's cool about it is each one of those have their own line, and it's an audio track. And since I'm talking about that, I'm going to do another one. Okay, right here. This is kind of an overlay showing a screen where I am editing things. You can have top right, you've got what's called a program screen. Top left is a monitor preview screen. Timelines down the bottom right, and you'll see each of those are set up in tracks. So you have video tracks as well as audio tracks. So if I have something to where I have multiple voices on there, multiple people, I can isolate those and make them louder, make them, quieter, mute them all together. So that's one of the things that's pretty cool about that. I can adjust the gain. I have not tried to add music yet, so we'll see how that goes. I've got this service that's called Epidemic Sound. Got sound effects and all that other stuff. I'm telling you, it's a lot. It's a lot to learn, and I try not to get discouraged. So I'm like, there is no way I'm ever going to learn this. Well, other people have, so you just do it. If I learned how to be a lawyer, I learned how to try a case and argue in there. I wasn't a trial lawyer on my first day of law school, so I'm not going to be there on this yet either. I don't really have an intro yet. I need to do one, just something quick. It's good for branding. I don't have an outro. Yes, there is something called an outro. So let's say you're watching a video, and then you've got this little thing that they put at bumper at the end of it. It's not a, what do they call it? It's not an end screen, but maybe it's like a music play. Kind of like if you have an intro that's coming in, you have an animation, sound, and then you get to the video. Well, you can have one going out too. So I noticed that a lot of creators put on there when they're doing their chapters that they'll just put outro, but it will start when they're starting to leave. So there'll be end screen, there'll be all of that, and they'll just call that whole last part of it. Once they're hitting their conclusion or whatever, they'll just put outro. Excuse me. But to sum it up, basically perfect will keep me from getting better and learning from my mistakes. That's what I keep saying over and over in my head. I look at it, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be embarrassed if this stuff looks terrible. But I know it's gonna be terrible. But it doesn't make it any easier. All right. Let me see. So far, by the time that this is posted, you should have several vlog posts. I'm going to have one more because the night before I post this stuff, I'm going to do one last one with just, hey, here's where I'm at, and let's see how it goes, that kind of thing. Have a couple more stuff on there. I have a tendency to just stack on projects, huge projects. So I'm trying to find the balance between that, and I think today I'm like, look, quit. I'm just gonna, because I was gonna have a movie review on there. I was gonna have all kinds of stuff. I'm just like, look, you're trying to do too much. So I'm trying to slow myself down and do more quality over quantity. So, but I will have lawyer stuff on there because I just got to get it on there. I gotta get it on there. And so each day that it's not on there, I feel like there's somebody out there that could have benefited from it. So, and obviously the gaming, because of the flu, I ended up having to do that. So I'll have some stuff on there. What I wanted to do as a movie review was Jeepers Creepers Reborn, because I had I had a lot of thoughts on that, not all positive. So that may be my first review video when I get around to it. I'm going to be reviewing some stuff this summer too. Also, I am going to, my wife and I, we went to that HorrorCon OKC last year in August. Well, it's again this year, and there's a couple of really good people on it. Henry Winkler's going to be there. Is it that one or the one in Dallas? Well, I know Dee Wallace is going to be in OKC. I'll have to look because Henry Winkler may be the one in Dallas. Chevy Chase, Hayden Christensen's going to be the one in Dallas, and that's in the beginning of June. So we're going to go to those two, and somehow I'll be able to upload some of that content because I just think it's cool. I like those people. I like that. If I can meet the Fonz and Dee Wallace and Chevy Chase, I would just. It would make my summer, let's put it that way. I still want to get some language and travel stuff out there, even though I guess my first travel is going to be to Dallas. It's not like, you know. I mean, when you think travel, you're thinking Paris, Rome, all this. Like, okay, I'm going down to Dallas. All right. It just doesn't have the same pizzazz. Now I'm sure there's some awesome places there. I've been through there, gosh, a million times, and there's some pretty cool places, but it's not the Eiffel Tower. It's not the Tower of Pisa or the Colosseum or Stonehenge in England. You know, when you think of travel, those are kind of places that jump out at you, or some type of a beach somewhere. You know, I've got friends that they go to Playa del something every time I turn around. I'm happy for them. They look happy. Not me. I get sunny Lake Draper. You know, Lake Thunderbird. That's what I get. So. Let's see, I think that's it for now. I need to get up and get going, and hopefully that you were able to hear this thing. So I'm really going to be upset if I'm not. Because, I don't want to redo this thing. I want to get this stuff out. Well, that's it. So I hope you're finding some of this interesting, and that hopefully I'll be able to convey more about all the things that I'm learning and going through as I do this process. I'm enjoying it. So, talk to you soon.